Dear aspirants, C.A.R.E Current Affairs Reverse Engineering is part of our upscale program. It contains daily prelims cum mains orientation apart from mental ability optional and current affairs. Current affairs is free for all the aspirants who are preparing. However, the students who subscribe to this upscale meditation mentorship can ascribe to all the tests that are related to our daily static related prelims and mains questions and other mental ability related questions here. And you can write offline and online mode in our residential mentorship programs and at our regional centers Hyderabad and at our Delhi campus too. So, coming to this first article as part of our C.A.R.E is about quantum dots. UPSC focuses only on the concepts. Here what is the quantum dot? Quantum dot is very small crystal with peculiar properties that have found application in variety of fields, new age LED screens to quantum computers. So, they are crystalline in nature, they can allow a light to pass through and they can emit such wavelength of the light after emerging out of this crystalline substance. Next, coming to this first statement regarding quantum dots, they are the first statement is talking about they are transparent to all wavelengths of light. Actually, this is not transparent to all wavelengths of light. Based on the size of this quantum crystalline quantum dot, they will emit different levels of wavelengths of light. Okay. Larger quantum dots emit longer wavelengths. So, they are not transparent to different wavelengths and at the same time they are based on their size and their functionality will also change according to the changing temperature. Therefore, they are insensitive to temperature changes is a wrong statement and they are used as backlight source to improve color accuracy in LCD screens, that is true statement. So, third statement is true and fourth statement is also true that larger quantum dots emit longer wavelengths of light and smaller quantum dots, quantum crystals emit smaller wavelength of light when it pass through. Okay. This is what the explanation given here, they are size dependent. Based on the size they will emit different wavelengths of light. Next question is about keeping tabs on carbon with an accounting system. Here the author is talking about polycrisis which can involve, refers interconnected and compounding crisis related to climate change that is affecting even social, economic and political arena. Suppose climate refugee and climate ridden poverty, unemployment, also international challenges out of this climate injustice that is happened throughout the history. So, this is having a polycrisis, not only the climate related challenge, but also you are having multiple challenges out of it. Next, such negative cascading effect is termed as polycrisis by the author here. And also this article talked about various initiatives that were taken up to address this kind of climate menace, that is clean development mechanism, the one of those such initiatives. It allows emission reduction projects in developing countries to earn certified emission reduction credits, each is equivalent to 1 ton of carbon dioxide. If you develop a kind of project that is climate resilient in nature, you will get a certified emission reduction. Such certified emission reduction can also be used for trade and sold across the world by these industrialized countries, by these industrialized developed countries. To meet their part of their emission reduction targets under this Kyoto protocol. Kyoto protocol puts certain restrictions to reduce their emission. Therefore, they have to purchase this certified emission reduction or they have to develop project which can actually address the climate menace in terms of climate resilience. Next, the adaptation fund which is also financed by levying on this certified emission reductions that can be issued by clean development mechanism. This is what the talk and also CSC 2008 has asked in the form of statements regarding clean development mechanism. These statements were asked in this question. And next article is about retribution for the south, accolade for the north. Actually, the southern part of the states are penalized due to recent changes that are going to be witnessed that is related to delimitation. Okay. The delimitation commission which came into picture in 2001, after 2001, it has only addressed about demarcation of constituencies. By the time southern parts of the states have witnessed a kind of better performance in the form of controlling population. So, when they are performing better in addressing the population explosion, they are penalized to get less representation in the parliament in the form of Lok Sabha seats especially. So, delimitation commission has to keep this in mind that those high performing southern part of states should also be rewarded when they have taken a measures to address the population explosion in this country. That is what they are talking about. Next, coming to consider the following statement, 4th schedule to the constitution provides for allocation of seats to Rajya Sabha only and not for the Lok Sabha. It is delimitation commission which will look after the state legislative assembly seats, a number of seats and the Lok Sabha. A number of seats were actually put certain threshold till 2026 under 84th amendment of the constitution in 2001. Actually, the number of seats were determined under 42nd amendment of the constitution in 1976 also. It was continued under 84th constitutional amendment in 2001 too. So, you have to remember these amendments and the years. However, according to the changing population, they have demarcated the constituencies. This is also very important. Next, the parliament determines the number of constituencies to be reserved for, no, it is the delimitation commission which can determine the number of constituencies that are reserved for scheduled castes and scheduled tribes. As of now, next coming to this actual explanation, some seats are reserved in Lok Sabha for the total number of scheduled castes and scheduled tribes. As per the delimitation commission in 2008, 412 were for general category, 84 seats reserved for scheduled caste and 47 seats for scheduled tribes. It is mostly 15% and 17% respectively. And next article is about retelling the Mahabharata through the paintings of Allah Baksh. Okay, through the paintings of Allah Baksh. Directly we will go to MCQ, we can read the entire article here only. Consider the following statements with regard to Mewar School of Painting. The works of the school are characterized by simple bright color and direct emotional appeal. Okay. Next, Allah Baksh, who lived in the court of Aurangzeb, influenced Mewar School of Painting. Actually, Jail Singh, not Allah, this is Aurangzeb. So, second statement is incorrect. Next, Chavan and Sahib Din are among popular painters who belong to this school. This is third statement is fine, and therefore, first only second statement is incorrect. He is popular painter in the school of Jai Singh, as I have said in the Udaipur. So, second statement is incorrect and the first and third statement are correct statements. Therefore, only two statements of the above given statements are true. And also UPSC has asked such kind of question in 95 and several times also, which of the following paintings and the features and their artistic marvels. They were asked, please go through those MCQs once again. Next, what is the uterus transplant and what does it mean to have one? Uterus transplant, recently it is UK, Churchill Hospital, Oxford, conducted country's first uterus transplant. I mean, a woman who had a 40-year-old transplanted her uterus to her 34-year-old sister. Okay. So, what is uterus transplant? Unlike heart or liver transplant, they have mentioned that unlike heart or liver transplant, uterus transplant are not life saving transplants. However, they can help you to bring your quality life standards. I mean, life standards can also be qualitative in nature after this uterus transplant, and it can help a woman who is lacking a uterus which can lacking uterus a quality, I mean a kind of healthy uterus, who is facing a congenital diseases, they may undergo this uterus transplantation. That kind of transplantation is actually uterus transplantation that it can be typically performed for women who are afflicted with uterine diseases and are unable to conceive or carry a child. First statement is correct here. And uterus used for transplantation can be donated both a living as well as deceased donor. Yes, used for donated both by a living, not only by a living person who can transplant from which the uterus can be transplanted, but also a deceased person, that means a person who is died can also give a healthy uterus to other person, right. Next, which of these statements, both the statements are correct, and the previous question associated with it is mitochondrial hereditary diseases. Passing on mitochondrial disease from parent to child can be prevented by mitochondrial replacement therapy either before or after the in vitro fertilization of egg. This question was actually taken from that year's current affairs only. Okay. and both the statements are correct here. A child inherits mitochondrial entirely from mother and not from father. Actually, it is 2021 prelims question. You please go through it once again. First both the statements in the given MCQ that we have asked are correct here. A National Crisis Management Committee reviews situation in Sikkim. National Crisis Management Committee under chairmanship of Cabinet Secretary Sri Rajiv Gauba met today and reviewed the situation in Sikkim. National Crisis Management, which is under the chairmanship of Cabinet Secretary. This was a previous year question. It is asked in the Press Information Bureau. How they pick the questions, that is more important. In CAP of 2022, in UPSC examination only, they have asked about Cabinet Secretary role. The role of Cabinet Secretary is to ensure interministerial coordination, but also management of major crisis situation in the country. So, these two statements are important. Next, following statements with regard to National Crisis Management Committee. It is headed by Prime Minister. No, it is wrong statement. It is headed by Cabinet Secretary because he has to take care of this major crisis situation in the country. Next, it is constituted under Ministry of Home Affairs to oversee the command, control, coordination of the disaster response. Those two are fine, it seems. It is a committee set up by Government of India in the wake of natural calamity with respect to bring such coordination and implementation of relief measures, headed by Cabinet Secretary. So, first statement is incorrect, that they have mentioned about Prime Minister there, and oversee command, control and coordination of the disaster response, that is the role of this National Crisis Management Committee. It gives direction to Crisis Management Group, which is deemed necessary actually. And next, it has been constituted in the Cabinet Secretariat only. Okay. Next, Government of India notifies establishment of National Turmeric Board. You please have to remember two things, that what is the stage of India in terms of exports of pulses, exports of rice, wheat, millet, and the exports of these spices, that is turmeric now we are talking about. Next, coming to consider the following statements. The largest producing states of turmeric are Andhra Pradesh, not Andhra Pradesh, it is Telangana, and Kerala, Odisha, no, not at all, and Karnataka, actually Tamil Nadu. So, first statement is incorrect. However, 10 states in your country are producing such a turmeric, but largest states are not these 4 given in this first statement. And India has more than 62% of share of world trade turmeric. And that is true statement, and India is the largest producer, consumer and exporter of turmeric statement. Okay. Ministry of Agriculture and Farmers Welfare is the ex officio chairman of National Turmeric Board, that is wrong statement. Only 2 statements are correct. Actually, the board has a chairperson who is appointed by the central government, and members from the Ministry of Ayush, Ministry of Agriculture and Farmers Welfare, and Commerce and Industry of the Union Government, and senior state government representatives from 3 states, and select, they will also consult the state or national level institutions which are involved in research. Representatives of turmeric farmers and exporters have a secretary to be appointed by the Department of Commerce here. So, this turmeric board is chaired by a person who is appointed by the central government, and members are drawn from various ministries, Ministry of Oils, Agriculture and Farmers Welfare, and other state government representatives, and farmers are also involved here, and exporters are also involved here, and research institutes are also involved here. Next, India is the largest producer and exporter of turmeric in the world. In the year 22-23, an area of 3.24 lakh hectares was under turmeric cultivation in India. And next, more than 30 varieties of turmeric are grown in India, and it is grown in the states in the country, that is more important. And the largest producing states are Maharashtra, Telangana, Karnataka, Tamil Nadu, as I have mentioned already. Next, India has more than 62% of share in the world in turmeric. Leading export markets for India turmeric are Bangladesh, UAE, USA and Malaysia. Why have I read all these things? Because of the previous year questions asked about millets, pulses and like that, spices also. Researchers synthesize highly crystalline polite at low temperatures, useful for fabricating high energy density supercapacitors. Now, let us read it in the form of MCQ here. So, regarding supercapacitors. Here, high energy density supercapacitors, asking statement, each of these statements we will study. High energy density supercapacitors store energy through chemical reactions. That is a wrong statement. How it is going to be wrong, I will explain. Next, supercapacitors have lower energy density compared to conventional batteries, Actually, yes, they have lower energy density, however, they will transmit that energy on faster paces. However, their density, that means the energy stored per mass, per unit mass, the energy stored per unit volume is less with respect to these supercomputers. That is why they are having low energy density. However, they can transmit that energy on faster basis, that is important. Next, supercapacitors can provide high energy density. Supercapacitors are primarily used for low power applications. Actually, low energy density supercapacitors, the second statement is correlated to the third statement. Here supercapacitors having low energy density compared to conventional batteries, that is important only, and high energy density supercapacitors not. Here itself, when it is right statement, automatically it should consider low energy density supercapacitors, because the second statement is if correct, second statement if is correct, therefore the third statement should be correct itself. Next, not correct itself, because the third statement is contradictory to the second statement. High energy density supercapacitors not, low energy density supercapacitors are primarily used for high power applications. High power applications in the form of the transmission of energy on a faster basis, that is called high power application. But the energy stored per unit volume is less here, that is supercapacitors. Supercapacitors can provide a long term energy storage similar to traditional lithium batteries. Actually, this energy density is low, therefore, it will provide short term energy storage facility. It will not provide such long term energy storage facility. So, I have explained all these things. Previously, we have also given you displayed this kind of question regarding fuel cells, which is related to hydrogen fuel, hydrogen rich fuel and oxygen that are used to generate electricity. In 2015, UPSC has asked about those fuel cells, hydrogen rich fuel and oxygen. Next, already we have asked about those questions previously. Next, coming to this kind of first question, and that supercapacitors related question, the first statement and the fourth statement are incorrect here. They are high energy density here. High energy density supercapacitors don't store energy through chemical reactions. Okay, as per the actual debate here. Temperature here, crystalline pyrite at low temperatures useful for fabricating high energy density supercapacitors. Okay. Here high energy density supercapacitors don't store energy through chemical reactions, instead they store energy through electrostatic suppression of charges, which occurs at the interface between the electrode and electrolyte. Electrolyte is a medium, electrode is a conductor which is connected to the completely non-conducting material. So, this electrode can discharge anything in the through the solution that is underlaid in this electrolyte. So, this is a medium, this is a conductor. Between this interface you can find such kind of energy storage. The storage, that means instead they store energy through electrostatic separation of charges. So, next thing, this process allows for rapid change and discharge, but does not involve chemical reactions like those in the traditional batteries. Supercapacitors are known for their high power density, allowing them to deliver energy quickly, but their energy density, the amount of energy they can store per unit mass or volume, is generally lower than that of traditional chemical batteries. Please kindly remember this statement here. Here their energy density is generally lower than that of chemical batteries, traditional chemical batteries. However, the supercapacitors are known for their high power density, So, next, coming to this question, this limitation makes them more suitable for applications requiring rapid energy discharge rather than long term energy store. The second statement and third statement are mutually correlated, which I have said earlier. Okay, the second statement is correlated to the third statement because of low energy density, that means the amount of energy stored per unit mass is less in this supercapacitor, therefore they cannot be used for long term storage of energy, they can only be used for short term storage of energy. However, this short term storage of energy will be very rapid in terms of transmission, they are required for rapid energy discharge. Okay. Next, high energy density supercapacitor are not primarily used for low power applications, They are typically used for applications where high power delivery or quick energy bursts are needed. Quick energy discharge is required. Therefore, they will use this high energy density. So, high energy density does not mean that they are having more density per unit mass, they are having more rapid discharge compared to other batteries, other conventional batteries. Supercapacitors cannot provide long term energy storage similar to traditional lithium batteries. They will not provide long term energy storage, that is given several times here. But here lithium ion batteries can be used for long term energy storage, that is important. Already I have discussed entire concept very easily and lucidly. Next, coming to no immunity for cash for vote, center clarifies its stand in Supreme Court. Okay. Immunity cash for vote means the privileges that are given to the members of parliament several times misused, and sometimes few of the parliamentary members are asking questions to the government by taking bribe from outside. This is also a kind of misuse of privilege given to the members of the parliament. So, what are the privileges given to the members of the parliament? That is more important, not the controversial political issue here. Next, coming to actual component that we need to read. Freedom of speech in the parliament is given as an immunity or privilege to the members of parliament. This is an immunity to a member from proceedings in any court in respect of anything said or any vote given by him in parliament or any committee thereof. That is also true. And no person can be liable to any civil criminal proceedings in any court for publication of proceedings of a secret sittings of the house. That is actually here no person can be liable to anything. One more thing here important, secret sittings of the house. The publication related to secret sittings of the house must be maintained confidentially. So, no person can be liable to any civil criminal proceedings in any court for publication of proceedings of a secret sittings is not a right statement. No officer or a member of parliament empowered to regulate procedure or the conduct of business or to maintain order in the parliament can be subject to a court's jurisdiction in respect of exercise of this power. Coming to the statement 3 is incorrect and other statements are correct, already mentioned there. And why have we asked this question? NDA 2016 about freedom of speech of members of parliament, how their privileges are given there. Constitution has also vested such power to amend the constitution in the parliament. Yes. Next question. National Investment and Infrastructure Fund launches 600 million India Japan Fund. Okay. And please, you please read all the schemes associated with the recent treaties that are taken place with respect to India and other countries, okay, and the policies introduced accordingly, and global platforms that are multilateral platforms according, and recently our interministerial cooperation has taken place to negotiate on food stockpile of WTO. Okay, there are certain restrictions on food stockpile. And next, these are the question regarding Japan India Fund. This is a simple question, I think you can read this question. Today's session is over, it seems, and please go through the mains questions that are given in the form of table, and last question that I have left to you, please read it again. And coming to the mains question part, we are giving you the keywords here. I would like to give you display those keywords, very important. Here this is the given article, but we are setting question, please remember that glacial lake outburst floods and explain the triggers that lead to this such kind of issue. And Sikkim has been in a situation that it requires a lot of support because of the floods, and few of our paramilitary forces were also under threat due to this. And next, coming to this keywords part, and please focus on the factors triggering such kind of situation. Okay, discuss the NDMA guidelines in this regard, and the NDMA guidelines which are given here and planned, and these keywords that are given here must be read and revised and reproduced several times, at least read 10 to 15 times the keywords given here. So, if you can make keywords like this, if you can directly make keywords like this, you can dump information on those lines. Here also we have given you the keywords. If you remember these keywords, you can directly dump the entire information in the form of the narration, right. So, only the left side key part is very important to spontaneously recall the information and reproduce in the original examination, that is more important. This is actually C.A.R.E. current affairs reverse engineering. I think this session would have helped you, and we will be continuing this C.A.R.E. forever. All the best.